It's not only addictive, but could land you in the hospital, like the hundreds of people across the country now battling severe lung damage.
Universally, all of these patients had what appeared to be a chemical type injury or toxic chemical fume injury in the lungs.
Dr. Brandon Larson and his team at the Mayo Clinic took biopsies of lungs from 17 patients hospitalized after vaping. They quickly discovered all suffered chemical type injuries, but different levels of damage were found, and identifying exactly what those chemicals are is proving tricky.
One of the problems with vaping is that there's so many products and materials and substances in the market. With tobacco, there was only one culprit.
I mean, you would think that it would stop from that, but people just don't really get it. They think that it's fake news, or they think it's not really happening, and they just think it's not going to happen to them.
And although researchers with the Mayo Clinic have now released this breakthrough information, they say more must be done. Now, the CDC reports at least 17 deaths and 800 cases so far. Live right now in West Palm Beach, Jillian Idle, WPTV News Channel 5.
Palm Beach County parents are invited to join a town hall on school safety tomorrow night. It's being held by the school district, state attorney's office, and the group Safe Schools. The town hall begins at 6 p.m. at Atlantic High School. Some of the topics will include vaping, sexting, bullying, and school threats.
Zero tolerance for threats. Another example tonight, 2 teenage girls facing charges for threatening to bomb a school in Port St. Lucie. Officers said the students wrote these threatening messages on the poles at Treasure Coast High School. They were alerted to these pictures. You see them closely there when they were shared on social media. Through surveillance video, police were able to identify the girls, 14 and 16 years old. The teens said they had planned to skip school, which is believed to be the reason for the threats.
Tonight, we're seeing new images taken before a violent attack in Martin County. The photos help deputies quickly identify a suspect. They say 21-year-old Jacques Jean of North Miami, you see him in the picture there, getting dropped off at a gas station in Palm City on Sunday. Surveillance video from that mobile station appears to capture the suspect circling his intended target. Then deputies say he stole the car with 2 people still inside, one of them a baby. They were later released unharmed. The sheriff says video in these cases is key.
We still have work to do. So the video doesn't do away with good police work. It just lends a piece of evidence that is so damning that when we have it, oftentimes that's the end of the case as far as court.
And the sheriff adds taking the video platforms that the businesses have and adding that with homeowners who have their security cameras. It's a new area for law enforcement that does help them solve crimes.
We're hours away now from President Trump's first Florida visit since the start of the House impeachment inquiry. We have a news team headed to the Village's retirement community in north central Florida, where health and Medicare are on the official speaking agenda. But it's a certainty the president will weigh in on claims that he sought to have Ukraine investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, in order to help his own re-election bid. President Trump is demanding the identity of the whistleblower whose report started the probe, while Democrats vow to protect that person's right to speak out without fear of reprisal.
I have a lot of respect for whistleblowers, but only when they're real.
This is about the facts relating to the Constitution, and that is how we will proceed.
House Speaker will be in Weston tomorrow to meet with Venezuelan exiles at issue the ongoing debate in Congress about offering protection for those fleeing the socialist-led South American country where freedoms have been stripped away by President Nicolas Maduro. We'll also see if Speaker Pelosi weighs in Weston on the ongoing impeachment inquiry.
New at 11, Senator Bernie Sanders tweeting he is feeling good after a scare on the campaign trail. The Democratic presidential hopeful has 2 new heart stents. He had complained of chest pain during an event last night and went to a hospital where doctors found a blocked artery. No word on how long Sanders will be away from campaigning, but he did use his own medical emergency as a fresh pitch for Medicare for all.
That powerful moment in a Dallas courtroom, it's gone viral. The brother of a man murdered by former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger hugs her after she is sentenced to 10 years in prison. Geiger shot and killed Botham Jean last year in his Texas apartment, claiming she mistook his residence for her own and thought he was a burglar. Protesters thought the sentence, 10 years, was not nearly long enough, but the slain man's brother offered a sharply different perspective.
And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you, because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ.
Tears across the courtroom, attorneys, the judge, onlookers. The scene described today as so highly emotional. Geiger will be eligible for parole after serving 5 years of her 10-year sentence.
Now to the story of the young man sent to jail for 10 days for missing jury duty. Today, the judge behind the sentence said he couldn't comment because it's still a pending case. 21-year-old DeAndre Somerville was selected as a juror, but says he overslept the day of the civil trial, which delayed it 45 minutes. He was summoned to appear before Judge John Castronakis, and despite not having a criminal record, Somerville was sent immediately to jail for 10 days, plus got 1 year probation and community service. He is now appealing the judge's decision. A new crime-fighting tool for West Palm Beach Police. The department is teaming up with the Ring Neighbors portal. It allows police to monitor public posts on the Ring app and also post important crime and safety information. You can also share video and information with police officers. You do not need to own a Ring device to use this app. It's free to download.
In 60 seconds, a man arrested after testing the security on a school campus. Just how far he got and the weapon he allegedly was carrying.
Malnourished and neglected, but now on the mend. The steps a local sheriff's now taking to make sure animal cruelty cases are properly investigated.
Danger in the palm of your hand. The tools parents are now learning to spot harmful phone apps.
And a Florida deputy talks about the moment he rolled up his sleeves and brought a baby girl into the world.
WPTV tomorrow morning, the easy new way to find out if your passwords have been hacked in any data breach.
Plus, Chopper 5's exclusive views about breaking news and traffic, and Storm Team 5's making sure your weekend's looking good.
We'll see you tomorrow morning on Today on 5.
This is News Channel 5 at 11. Thanks for making WPTV South Florida's most watched television station.
New video of the Florida man caught trespassing at a school so he could, quote, test the system.
Where did you come in at? You testing the system? Testing what system?
Body cam video from the school resource officer who arrested Derek Marlowe last Friday. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says the 51-year-old man rode a bike onto a high school campus and walked right into a classroom. He was also armed, they say, with a knife, but did not threaten anyone. The teacher activated an emergency button which sent assistance immediately. A deputy, as we said, arrested the man who appeared, they say, intoxicated. School administrators now reviewing security protocols.
Tonight, the Okeechobee County Sheriff admits his embattled animal control agency dropped the ball when it came to 3 horses seized in an animal neglect investigation. The horses are making slow but steady progress at the Equine Rescue and Adoption Foundation in Palm City. The sheriff says that he is now working to hire a new animal control supervisor to replace the one who resigned during an internal investigation. That investigation found a horse had died despite animal control officers making numerous contacts with the horse and its owner since March. The investigation also found an animal control employee was denied training to better identify malnourished animals.
And we'll make sure that the protocols and the policies and procedures are followed, and we got a better checks and balances moving forward.
The sheriff says the new animal control supervisor will also be tasked with reviewing all cases to make sure that they're properly followed up on, and that supervisor should be hired in the next 2 weeks. The next big threat to local governments could be just a click away. Today, a group of them came together to share knowledge on how to prevent a cyber attack. Congresswoman Lois Frankel hosted the discussion. The latest cyber attack happened in July when Riviera Beach paid a $600,000 ransom. Hackers paralyzed the city's entire computer system. Local governments have since looked at ways to add another layer of security to their servers.
A full house tonight in Martin County to help keep parents there on the lookout for online dangers. Lessons for all of us here. The Sheriff's Office hosted a forum on what it considers 15 apps parents should know about. Many of those apps remain quite popular with children and teens and can be accessed by adults looking to lure young people.
We learned about all the apps. We learned about how they can hide things in their phones, under the calculator, and I learned about a lot of websites that I can go on for the parental controls. It was very informative.
Many of the apps in question can give away critical information like users' locations along with videos and pictures. What apps you say? Well, you can read the specific list of those apps. Just go to WPTV.com.
And right now, the first cargo ship to sail from the Port of Palm Beach to the Bahamas is on the way to Marsh Harbor to deliver aid. Duke of Topsail, a Bahamian-owned ship, is carrying plywood, roofing materials, and fertilizer. There are also 2 golf carts being shipped. It's the first time a cargo ship will arrive in the Bahamas since Hurricane Dorian.
Seaweed on our beaches has been a big problem all summer until Dorian wiped it clean. The storm essentially caused the seaweed to sink, but it may not be long before it returns. Bigger blooms, scientists say, extend over 5,000 miles. From Africa to the Gulf of Mexico, an FAU harbor branch is working to dissect the cause behind the growing blooms. Preliminary evidence also says runoff from the Amazon is a major new nutrient source.
We're now seeing is evidence that land-based nutrient runoff from our activities, fertilizers, sewage, fossil fuel emissions, are reaching all the way out to open ocean areas where now that is becoming a new nutrient source for the sargassum and is feeding these big blooms that we're now seeing.
And for the first time, scientists say they collected samples from the Amazon plume, which they're sending this week in hopes of finding more answers.
Amazing how it's all interconnected, and also interconnected the big winds, the coastal flood advisory, and the rain that we've been seeing pretty much all night through southern Palm Beach County. Coastal flood advisory has been extended now until tomorrow at 4. We had some pretty significant flooding along the coastline, and our next high tide, well, from between now and about 1 in the morning, and then around noon tomorrow, we've seen the highest tides. And the rainfall continues across Delray and into Boca, off and on rain. Still out there. It seems to let up for a little while and then fires up again. That's really the only area in Palm Beach County that has seen wet weather this evening. On the Treasure Coast, we're starting to see some patchy little showers that fire up around Winter Beach and around the Sebastian area. Here's a look at the radar. Yeah, there's still a couple here and there. Otherwise, pretty quiet. But gusty winds, northeast at about 15 to 20. The winds will slowly come down tomorrow. It'll still be breezy, but not as windy as it's been. And plenty of sunshine with the chance for a stray shower here and there. Temperatures getting up around 86 to 87 for daytime highs. Lorenzo's now gone. We have a little weather maker in the Caribbean that has about a 10% chance of developing as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. But I would also keep an eye that this entire area of disturbed weather is going to split in two, and the second half, the eastern half, is going to move in toward the Bahamas. Some of the models do develop something around the Bahamas early next week, so that's another area that we'll have to keep an eye on. And there's a look at what's these post-tropical Lorenzo starting to bring some big wind and rain to Ireland. High pressure with us, that's what's bringing the wind. It slowly weakens, it pushes off the coast. There's a front that makes it into North Florida on Saturday. It never makes it into South Florida, but it does help set up for a few more showers for both weekend days. But the next couple of days look good, off and on clouds, mainly sunny, and temperatures in the mid-80s right through the weekend and into early next week. Boating conditions are starting to improve. We now have a small craft caution on the Treasure Coast, 2 to 4 Palm Beach County, 4 to 6 on the Treasure Coast for your Thursday, and rip currents will still be around. 77, and those gusty winds continuing right into the early morning. 87 tomorrow, a little less wind and partly sunny with a quick shower in the 7-day forecast. Looking good. Little bump in the shower Saturday and Sunday, but both weekend days look fantastic. Better rain chances early next week.